Back-to-back jacks. Yes. Back-to-back jacks. Back-to-back jacks. Back-to-back jacks. Back-to-back jacks.
So I know this is ridiculous, but once again I have to have Billy as my guest because he's just a beast. We're going to change his name to Jack. You know why? Because he went back-to-back Jack on Wednesday Night Poker League. Unbelievable. Pretty darn good. That's pretty impressive, don't you think? It's only, so as far as I know, in the number of years we've been playing Wednesday Night Poker League, there have been back-to-back wins. I know 4 of them that I know of. Me, now Billy. There's a couple other players that have done it. I don't think anybody's ever won 3 in a row. So next week, Billy will go for 3 in a row. Pretty amazing. So anyhow, Billy's going to tell you once again about some of the hands that were in this tournament. Poker League, returning champ right here. Returning chump right here. First break. How many chips you got?
14,000.
14,000. I was down to 1,500 in level 1, and I've made my way back up to 4,800. I'm pretty good, aren't I? Wednesday Night Poker League, second break. I'm dealing the cash game. I'm dealing the cash game, so that means I'm out. I suck. There's two of our stalkers. Billy, how are you doing in the cash? Billy, hey, Billy, previous champion. How are you doing?
13,000.
13,000. Go kick their butt, son. Hey, kick their butt.
So, kind of in the middle of the tournament with about 17 players left, I was about out. I had like 5 big blinds left. I had 1,500 chips.
Not very many.
And I got ace-8 offsuit in, I think I was second to act. So I shoved all in for 1,500. The blinds were like 2 and 4 or something. And then I got 4 callers. So
that's not very good. Unless you win.
It's not looking good. But then, so the flop came 7-7-6 with 2 clubs. And I had no clubs. So the player next to me, Sam, leads into everybody for like half pot or something, and everybody folded. And he ended up turning over King 9 of clubs.
So he had a flush draw.
So, and he bricked out. So I ended up winning that hand and quadrupling up.
Oh my goodness.
That was
or you'd have been out.
Yeah.
No back-to-back jack if you're out there.
So I was still kind of short. I had like 5 or 6,000. A couple hands later, I was on the button with ace-jack, and there was a raise and a call before me, so I shoved all in. And Carl called me with ace-9, and Josh ended up folding pocket 7s, which actually would have won. But anyway, Carl didn't hit a 9, and my ace-jack won, so doubled up.
And Josh would have won, though, if he had called with
sevens.
pocket 7s. You can't call with pocket 7s there, though, not with a all-in and a call. So that was another big hand, huh?
Yeah.
So because I got knocked out of the tournament, I was playing and dealing in the cash game, so I didn't record many of Billy's hands. But on the final table, when there was, I think, 4 or 5 left, then I came over and I sweated Billy. Oh, my gosh. It was absolute domination. Billy, you had, what, 80, 90% of the chips, right?
Yeah.
And he was making tremendous decisions. There was a point with, I think, either 4 or 5 players left where you won 7 or 8 hands in a row. And I started laughing, right? Remember that? And somebody said, what is he laughing about? And Randall says, he's laughing because Billy's rolling the table. And it was true. I'm watching Billy play, and he had a hand where they got the money in, on the pre-flop. So there's 2 or 3 players. Billy has 9-4 offsuit. And just, he floats on the flop, makes a big bet on the turn, and they all fold. And it's just, with absolutely 9 high. It was William Kassouf, 9 high like a boss. But he also made really good decisions. Tell him about the hand with Randall that where you made a really good decision when he had the.
I actually think I had 7 deuce, and the flop was 5-5-7, and then it ran out ace.
Well, you didn't. Did you call on the river?
No.
I'm sorry. Did it go to the river?
Yeah.
Okay.
The flop was 5-5-7, so I bet and he called. Turn was like a
Not much.
6.
Yeah.
River was an ace, and he led into me. It went check on the turn. And he led into me for.
And Billy knows at that point Randall doesn't have an ace there. He didn't. There's no way he has an ace.
No.
So you put him on having another 5, right? And he did. He turned over a third 5. It was just Billy made really good decisions, but just a steamroller of a deal. I mean, it was almost embarrassing. Had they known how you were playing and what you were playing with, they would have been mad. In fact, Randall said one time there's a hand where Billy floated and then he bet the turn, bet the river, and then the river. Randall says, "I know I should call here. I know you have nothing. I know who taught you." And so that was, of course, me. And he was actually right. He should have called if he had any kind of pair, because you had nothing. But I'm very proud of Billy. He is a heck of a player for a 20-year-old kid. So great job once again.
Thanks.
If you keep beating Wednesday Night Poker League, I'm going to be mad, though, because I have to do some winning. So good job.
Thank you. So the final hand, I had it.
Who did you play against?
It was against Randall.
Randall Beasley.
I had a huge chip lead. I had like 290,000 and he had about 60,000. The blinds were 4 and 8,000, and I got on the button with King 10 offsuit, so I min raised 16,000 and he shoved all in for 60 with Ace 5 offsuit, and I called. So the board ran out Jack 5 6 9 on the turn, Queen on the river.
Ooh, straight, and you win. Mm-hmm. Holy crap. Little Billy Willie Jr. back-to-back Jack. Billy won the dang Wednesday Night Poker League tournament again tonight. I was sweating him on the final table. It was a steamroller, for God's sakes. Tell me about a big hand or two if you got one. I mean, was there any big hands that... were you ever down to a low stack of chips?
I was down to 1,500 chips with 2 tables left.
In early...
It was like 16 players left.
And you were down to 1,500 chips?
Yeah.
I heard that you
like
got aces and knocked a couple of people out, though.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. You played just tremendous. Tremendous poker from my son. Maybe he should teach MrBill poker math class, because he just absolutely kicked butt. 20-year-old kid just absolutely smoking people. Wow. Do you have anything to say?
No. See you next week.
Good job. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Friday night, 8:15 p.m. I am on my way to WinStar. They are doing $500 splash pots every 30 minutes. It's part of their Memorial Day mini river. So I've just started recently playing 5-10 as my regular game, as opposed to what I used to play 2-5. So I still have some things to learn at this level. Anyhow, in the third hand, I had $1,400 in middle position with 6 of hearts, 6 of clubs. I bet 35. The hijack raised to 105, and I made the call. So with 225 in the pot, the flop was ace of clubs, jack of clubs, 6 of diamonds. Excellent flop. We went check, check. The turn with 225 in it was the king of diamonds. I made it 140. He raised me to 640. So I can't make this call. I either have to fold or I have to shove all in, since I only have another 500 or 600 behind. So I shove all in to 1295. He thinks about it for a minute and he calls. The river is the 10 of diamonds. I hate that card, bad card. But it didn't matter, because he turned over pocket kings for set over set. And on the third hand, I lost my whole stack. Ouch. But I rebought, and here's some more hands. Under the gun +1, I have ace of clubs, king of clubs. I had just bought back in, so I had 1,500. I made it 35. The hijack called. The cutoff made it 85, and both myself and the hijack called. So with the on the flop, there's $270 in the pot, and the flop comes ace of spades, queen of spades, 3 of hearts, and it checks around. The turn is the 5 of diamonds. I check, the hijack bets 125, cutoff folds. I raise to 325, and he calls. So on the river, it's the 3 of clubs. I bet 450, and he tanks and folds. Wish I'd have gotten a call there. So this next hand I played against Chris from Haslet House Poker. We had talked a few times. I think we maybe played together once, but this is the first time we had played an extended session together. I am in the small blind with King of Hearts, 8 of Hearts. I had 2,000. We were playing 5-handed, so we were doing no chops, and it folded around to me. I completed to 10, and Chris made it 40, and I made the call. So the 80 in the pot, and the flop came 7 of Hearts, 9 of Hearts, Queen of Clubs. So I've got second nut flush draw. So I check. Chris bets 35. I raise it to 110, and he makes the call. The turn is the 6 of spades. I lead out for 135. Chris thinks for a minute, and he makes the call. And the river, 2 of diamonds. I can't win unless I bet. I make it 250, and Chris makes the call. He told me he considered raising. He had pocket kings, so I lost that hand. And finally, the last hand, I had ace of spades, 2 of spades with $1,200 in middle position. There was a limper. I made it 20. Just a crazy, crazy guy who was betting everything, and he was raising on everything, whether he had cards or not. He made it 60. And then there ended up being, there was 5 of us at 60 pre-flop. So 305 in the pot to a flop of 3 of spades, 7 of spades, 8 of hearts. So the crazy guy bets 150. There's a real loose woman that was next to him. She made the call, and I considered raising right here, but I decided to go ahead and make the call because if I hit my cards, I don't think he's going anywhere anyways. On the turn with 755 in the pot is the ace of diamonds. Very interesting call. The crazy guy shoves all in for 805. Honestly, this didn't mean anything. He had been going all in with third pair draws, so it really didn't mean anything. The girl, she tanked for quite some time, and she made the fold, and then I made the call. The river was beautiful, 5 of spades, so I have the nuts, and he actually had a hand this time. He had ace king, so I needed that card on the river to win, but I did get it, so good for me. So all told, I lost $400. Not so bad when you consider I lost $1,500 in the first 3 hands, and then I came back and won $1,100 back. So not so bad. Hello, MrBill poker fans. Billy and I are here for the WinStar Mini River main event. It is Sunday, right about noon. We're just a couple of minutes later than what we would like. So we're here to play in that. This is the biggest tournament Billy's ever played in, right? Mm-hmm. How much?
600.
All right, $600 buy-in, but Billy won Wednesday Night Poker the last 2 weeks in a row. He's got, actually had in your last 4 tournaments, how have you done?
I've won 3 out of the last 4, so.
And 1 non-cash, but that's really good. So we're here to main event.
Make it 4 out of 5.
Let's make it 4 out of 5. All right, Billy. Good luck, dude. Hey.
You too.
We got to do that in front of the camera. Dude.
That's not in the camera.
There we go. Yes. So on Sunday, May 27th, I played in the WinStar Mini River main event. It was a $600 main event. I think I didn't think they ended up getting a prize pool of like $375,000. So pretty good tournament. Anyhow, I had pocket queens on the button with 16K. A guy I know from another place, his name is John. He was under the gun. He limped in for 150. There was a tight aggressive player in the cutoff who made it 400. Me and the small blind and John all called. So on the flop, there was 1675, and the flop comes Jack of clubs, 3 of hearts, 2 of hearts. So I have an overpair to the board. It checks to me. I make it 800. John calls, and the cutoff calls. So on the turn, there's 4,075. It's the 6 of diamonds. It checks to me. I bet 1,200. John calls, and the cutoff folds. And the river, 6 of spades. A really great card. John checks to me. I bet 2,500, and he pretty much snap calls. And I show my overpair to the board, and he mucks his cards. WinStar Mini River, Sunday, it's day 1B. first break, let's see, we started with 15,000 chips. I have 23,700.
I have 13,200.
Billy said he hasn't been playing very many hands at all. You do have a tough table draw too. There's a couple of really good players on there. I actually have a pretty tough table draw too. There's a couple of other really softer tables, but that's okay. I'm doing fine. Billy's doing fine. We'll do better on the second set of levels or breaks or hands. So with blinds at 100, 200, I'm in the big blind with Queen of Hearts, 10 of Diamonds. I have 21K. The under the gun +1 makes it 400. A very aggressive Asian professional woman in the middle position calls, and I call. So the flop has 1,300 in the pot, and it comes Jack of Spades, 10 of Spades, 10 of Hearts. Fantastic flop. The initial raiser checks. The woman makes it 700. I raise to 2,000. The initial raiser folds, and the woman makes the call. On the turn, there's 6,000 in the pot. It's the Ace of Hearts. I lead out for 3,500, and she makes the call. So on the river, there's 13,000. It's the 6 of Hearts. And boy, now in retrospect, I look back, boy, I made a mistake. I checked. I was a little bit nervous that she had a big hand and was slow playing it. She checked also. I showed my third 10, and she mucked. And I don't like it at all. Gosh, if I look at that, she may have had 10-9, 10-8. Gosh darn it, I could have gotten a lot more value potentially. Even if she had an ace, maybe she calls me. So very poor play on the end there. Well, that was a horrible level for both of us, right? So the average is 30,000. We're at second break. I have 20,800.
I got up to 28,000, and now I have 3,000.
Oh, man. So Billy's got some definite work to do. All right, well, we'll come back from break and just do the best we can do. All right. So with blinds at 200, 450 ante, I have Ace of Spades, King of Clubs in the cutoff. I only have 11,750 chips. I had lost some big hands. My friend John from the other place was under the gun, +1. He made it 2,500. I shoved all in, and he made the call, and I had him dominated as he had an ace queen. So 24,550 in the pot, and the board ran out good for me. 6, 8, 10, king, a little bit of a sweat, deuce, and I knocked him out and ended up having at least a decent amount of chips again. So with just 5 minutes before the dinner break, I had 13K, so I had lost a few more hands. I had Ace of Hearts, 5 of Hearts in the cutoff. Blinds were 500, 1,000 with 100 ante. There was a limper for 1,000. I shoved all in for 13K, and it came back to the limper who called. He had limped with Ace King, Ace of Clubs, King of Spades. I had Ace 5. The flop was beautiful though. 5 of Clubs, 8 of Clubs, 9 of Spades. Yay for me. The turn, King of Hearts. Ouch. Now I'm drawn to 2 outs. Horrible. And the river was a brick, Jack of Diamonds, and I was out of the tournament. I think I finished in 96th out of 355 on day 1B. No money for me. Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Larry Avarello, who finished 9th in the WinStar Mini River main event. Great job, Larry. Larry's a fantastic player. It was well deserved, and I knew it would be coming soon. Larry, good luck in the World Series. I think you're going to do great, but congratulations. Great job, buddy. So after the tournament was over, I decided to jump in the 5-10 game again. I always buy in for 1,500. Ended up cashing out for, I don't know, 23 something. And I didn't record any hands, but I will tell you the one hand I do remember because I made a mistake, and I want you guys to give me some feedback on this. So I'm under the gun with Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Hearts. I make it 35. There's a big stack next to me. He was very aggressive. He made the call, and the big blind, who was pretty much a calling station, also made the call. So on the flop, there's $105 in the pot, and the flop came Jack of Spades, 8 of Spades, 2 of Spades. So I flopped top set, but there was a flush draw on board already. I lead out for 55 into 105, and both players call. So on the turn, there's 270 in the pot, and bingo, baby. The flop is the card is the 2 of Clubs. Now I have a full house. I let out for 95. I think this is way too small. There's 270 in the pot. I probably should have let out for 150, 160. Both players make the call, though, so that's good for me. And on the river, there's 555 in the pot. And the river comes a great card. It's the 10 of spades. So the big blind leads into me for 200. So this is where I made a huge mistake. When I got the full house, I didn't even think about the recognition that somebody could simply have the ace of spades. I knew that they could have flushes, but I didn't really even think about it. So I bet way too small. I raised to 450. The aggressive player folded, and the calling station guy, of course, he called. He did have the ace of spades. He had ace of spades, 7 of clubs. Oh my gosh, this is just horrible. There was already 550 in the pot. He bets 200, so now there's 755 in the pot. Man, I could have made it 700, 800. He probably would have called either way. Bad play. This is where not being used to playing at the 5-10 level hurt me. 450 seemed like a big bet when you're playing 2-5, but in this game it wasn't. It wasn't a big bet at all, so that was a real mistake. Anyhow, I won the pot. I ended up winning $850 or so for the session, but it could have been so much better. So the weight loss challenge is going very well. I'm down to 184. Again, my goal was to make it to 180 by June 11th, and I'm well on my way to doing that. Should be relatively easy. I'm excited that my math class, Mr. Bill's poker math class, June 2nd, less than 1 week away. I'm looking forward to a good time, learning, teaching, having fun, playing a poker game afterwards. Very excited about it. So I'll see you guys all at the class. So I was talking to Chris from Haslet House Poker when we were playing the 5-10 session the other day, and he told me he's playing live at the bike. He and Jack both from Haslet House are playing live at the bike on Wednesday, May 30th. So this Wednesday, they're playing in a 5-5-10 game, I believe. So everybody tune in for that. Those guys, they're great guys, and wanted to give them a shout out. And we'll all be watching you guys. Hope you guys do great. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Press the like and subscribe buttons and leave me a comment. I really appreciate you guys doing that. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.
That's all hit hard. Stretch. Austin Jackson Frank looks up. You can feel the ball. Yes. Back to back strikes. That's all hit hard. Stretch. Austin Jackson Frank looks up. You can feel the ball. Yes. Back to back strikes.